What do you do when you're sleep deprived? Now, sleep deprivation has been shown to have many negative health effects, especially in a chronic fashion, right? Where you're just always short on sleep, or you're rarely getting good quality sleep, or whatever. It's got very negative outcomes for health on the whole, right? That being said, there's people that get very little sleep. It seems like for a long time and seem to mostly be okay. So maybe it's not as lethal as it sounds. But anyway, the question today is, what do you do when you're low on sleep? So obviously, there's a couple different things you can do. You can caffeinate heavily. You can do you can try to take care of your body in every other way possible, or you can give yourself what you want, which is just some sleep. So I've done all of the above, and which approach I take, of course, varies on the circumstances and what the options are available to me. Probably usually my first, if I get a short night, whether it's by requirement because of work and I have to be at somewhere at some ridiculous hour or something like that, or you know, or if for some reason I will wake up and I can't go back to sleep at 4:30 or something like that. Um, Generally, probably my first preference is going to be simply to catch a nap, and that's going to be probably the best way to get me back on track. Um, Probably my second preference. I say preference. Okay, caffeinating sounds fun when you're really tired until you do it or until you do too much of it, right? So, like over caffeinating when you're tired is basically just misery in my opinion. So now I'm kind of buzzed. All right, I'm kind of anxious, or I'm kind of, you know, well, I don't know if uptight is quite the right word, but I don't feel like really relaxed necessarily. But at the same time, um, you know, I can't sleep even if I wanted to. Potentially, if I'm hyped up enough on caffeine, but neither do I feel rested. Right, like the parts of your brain that really feel um, like happy from rest are not happy necessarily just because you've got lots of caffeine. Now, some people kind of live in this like state, I think, most of the time, which kind of blows my mind because it's so not my style. I do like caffeine; it really helps me get through the afternoon without so much of a slump. It allows me to keep working more effectively throughout the afternoon. So I use caffeine on pretty much a daily basis during the work week. Um, and I like it Sunday mornings to help me, be perky at church. So Saturdays is really about the only day that I often do not consume some type of caffeine or a caffeinated beverage. But anyway, back to what you do when you're low on sleep. So over caffeinating really is not my preference. The If I can't take a nap, I may caffeinate moderately, and that's okay. And if I want to be sure that I can, really sleep well that night or whatever, if the circumstance is such that I can't caffeinate at a good time of the day, it would be too late or whatever. I might choose to simply do the best that I can for my body otherwise, besides getting sleep. Um, so taking care of the fundamentals, eating decent food, hydrating well is probably a really big key. And also getting some exercise, getting some movement, getting some motion. Um, Stuff that seems super basic, but when you're extra tired, it's actually easy to let those things lapse and not be drinking like you should, maybe not, when you're really tired, you don't feel like exercising necessarily, but exercising, can kind of help kind of wake you up and kind of keep your body working as good as possible, right? So really just kind of like reducing the stress on your body as much as possible when you're experiencing a lack of sleep. Um, and anyway, so those are kind of my my preferred methods of dealing with the lack of sleep. Is number one, just getting some sleep is probably my top preference. Number two is moderate or no caffeine, but good hydration and exercise. And then number three, just getting way hyped on caffeine. while tempting, probably the my least common go-to, I suppose.